Welcome to Let's Talk with Susan Rowe-Blidgen. Today we'll be wrapping up our sessions on walking in our purpose with a grand finale session, Living Purposefully, Intentionally. So, what exactly is living purposefully? A purposeful life is when you are actually living in the vision of your life that aligns with your values, with your passion, and you are extremely happy and content. A purposeful life is one that we all should want to live in. Remember, as we have discussed in our last session, the journey towards living purposefully is to first realize that you were born and created with a purpose in mind. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, "For I know the thoughts I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not evil, to give you an expected end." Also remember that our purpose is directly aligned with our inborn gifts, and we should seek to identify them, to enhance them, to develop them, to showcase them, to create visions that will enable us to live purposefully. And in order to achieve those visions, we have to create goals and plan of action that we ought to stick to, and then definitely we will eventually reach and live purposefully. Now, one thing I want you to remember, of course, the journey towards living purposely in some cases, or in most cases, has obstacles. The path is never direct. You may have to walk down in the valley, climb up on hills and mountains, but as long as you remain laser focused and keep your eyes on the prize, you will succeed. Today we are going to look at some celebrities in this session that weather the storms and are now living purposefully. Remember, you don't have to be born with a gold spoon in your mouth in order to achieve success. Now, before these celebrities became some of the richest people in the world, they endured hardship and struggles. We're going to look at a few. Halle Berry won an Oscar. Guess where she slept? She slept in a lot of homeless shelter. She was a struggling actress, desperately wanting to make it in Hollywood. The star, what she did, she sought out cheaper housing alternatives. She says, however, that her struggles during her early acting years made her stronger in the end. Dolly Parton, she was born the fourth of 12 children. Her parents struggled to make ends meet for their family. She has been in show business, however, for 6 decades and has won numerous number one singles. Her net worth is now 37 million as of 2017. Ed Sheeran, he's now one of the biggest names in the music industry. He too started off as a struggling artist in London, bustling music scenes. The singer often spent nights sleeping in London underground train station or on top of heated vents. There was an arch outside of Buckingham Palace that has a heating duct, and he said he spent a couple of nights there. But guess what? That's where he wrote the song Homeless, and the lines, "It's not a homeless night for me, I'm just homeless less than I'd like to be." He also wrote a book, A Visual Journey. His net worth is worth $84 million. Before, Leonardo DiCaprio was one of the biggest names in Hollywood in box office smashes like Titanic, The Wolf of Wall Street. Under his belt, he was a poor kid growing up in the outskirts of LA. The actor claimed he saw great poverty, he used drug and violence. No, he saw great poverty, drug use, and violence at a young age, which now allows him to portray the darker side of humanity in his films. In an interview in the Times, he said, "Who am I to talk about this? It goes back to that neighborhood. It came from the fact that I grew up very poor and I got to see the other side of the spectrum." His net worth is over 260 million. Before, he was the Terminator, you know who I'm talking, and later became the governor of California. Arnold lived without plumbing or a phone. He grew up in the World War II, post World War II in Austriatown, and the actor said there were food shortage and riots occurring outside his door regularly. Now one of the richest action movie stars of all time, reportedly has a net worth of 400 million. Celine Dion is another one, grew up in Canada, 14 siblings. There were 4 of them in the same bed. Eventually though, Dion realized her musical abilities and began performing at small local events. She went on to climb to the top of the charts with hits like My Heart Will Go On and It's All Coming Back to Me. And as her fame rose, so did her net worth. She is now valued at a whopping 455 million. K. Rowland, in a dream, the writer was a single mother, struggled to pay her rent. And in a dream, the idea came to her Harry Potter. The author net worth is now 60 million. Last but by no means least, Oprah Winfrey. She was born into a poor Mississippi family in 1954, but that didn't stop her from achieving her success. After a traumatic upbringing in which she was abused and molested by 2 family members, she ran away from home at age 13. At 14, she gave birth. The child died. She's always an intelligent and young driven woman. She was awarded scholarship to Tennessee State University. Following an appearance in a local beauty pageant, she went on to become the first African-American TV correspondent in the state at a young age of 19. The acclaimed talk show host moved to Chicago, where she began to work on her very own morning show. It would later be widely known as the Oprah Winfrey Show. She was the first woman in history to own and produce her own talk show. The show aired for 25 seasons from 1986 to 2011. Since moving on from her talk show, Winfrey has founded and owned the Oprah Winfrey Network. Guess what her network is? $2.6 billion. And there's a lot more, says the insider. Next, we are going to look at some celebrity that utilize their talents and are living purposefully. One of my favorites, Broderick Stephen Harvey. He was born January 17, 1957. He's an American television presenter, comedian, actor, broadcaster, author, game show host, and businessman, and a lot more. However, when Harvey was young, his family moved to Cleveland, where he graduated from Glenville High School in 1974 before heading back to his home state to attend West Virginia University. After finishing school, Harvey spent his early 20s working a number of jobs: insurance, salesman, postman, even wannabe professional boxer. But without finding anything that really seems like his true calling, his purpose in life, he did nothing. Harvey, however, eventually found what his true purpose was on the stage, performing stand-up comedy for the first time in 1985. After owning his act through several years of performance in small clubs, he came close to hitting the big time by the end of the decade, making it to the finals of the second annual Johnny Walker National Comedian Search in 1989. No. From there, Harvey's career really took off. In 1993, he took over as host of Showtime at the Apollo, the famed syndicated variety show filmed at Harlem. Legendary Apollo Theater. Harvey would stay on Showtime at the Apollo until 2000. He would stay on Showtime at the Apollo until 2000. But his hosting duties on the iconic show were far from the only thing on his plate. As he continued to develop and enhance his inborn talents, he got more and more successful. That's why we say that you identify it, you need to develop it and enhance it, and you need to showcase it. And when you showcase it, doors will open for you, opportunities will come flooding. That is what happened to Steve Harvey. In 1996, he got his own sitcom, The Steve Harvey Show, on the WB network. Now, who is Steve Harvey? We just mentioned it. As I said, he's a television presenter, comedian, actor, broadcaster, author, game show host, and businessman. He hosts Steve Harvey Morning Show, Family Feud, Celebrity Family Feud, and the Miss Jamaica competition since 2016. You all know Steve Harvey. You can go ahead on YouTube, Google, and read about him or Google him. All right? As of 2021, the net worth of Steve Harvey is 200 million. This could be you. This could be us. It's not impossible. Not impossible. Get up, get out of your comfort zone and realize your true potential. Let's look at a Jamaican, one I'm excited to talk about. Usain Bolt, born the 21st of August 1986. Usain was obsessed with sports at an early age. He showed great promise as a sprinter at an early age, as I said. As a primary school student, he began entering regional races, and by his 12th birthday, he had established himself as one of the fastest sprinters in his area. Usain continued his development under the tutelage of Pablo McNeil and Dwayne Narrett. After enrolling at Nibs High School, he won his first prep medal at the age of 14, taking silver in the 200 meters and in 22.04 seconds. Although Usain was not always serious about his training, his size, his speed and strength kept him moving up the rank of the nation's elite sprinting prospect. Usain was at the right place in Nibs. Remember, I said, find yourself at the right place. So he was at the right place at NIB. The school had a reputation for channeling gifted athletes into national program. Sprinter Michael Green was among the school more grads. As a young child, he had passed the warm days playing soccer and cricket. Usain was an especially good bowler. Usain still focused his athletic attention on cricket. Recognizing, however, the teenage blinding speed, the cricket coach encouraged him to give track a serious look. So sometimes others will see your gift and your talents and encourage you to develop them. Sometimes you will see it, sometimes others will see it. Parents, look out for it in your children. Look out for that inborn gift and talent and help them to develop it. That's what happened to Usain Bolt. And in 2001, Usain completed his first major event representing Jamaica in the Caribbean regional meet called the Carifka Games. He ran the 400 meter in a personal best 48.28 seconds and the 200 meters in 21.81. He finished second in both races. Later that year, Usain appeared in his first true international meet, the IAAF World Youth Championship. He and his teammates traveled to Hungary, where he set a new personal best in the 200 of 21.73 seconds. Usain would be moved to Kingston so he could train under the more watchful eye of the Jamaican Amateur Athletic Association at the University of Technology District. Came directly from the Prime Minister PJ Patterson. Now look at him today. Look at him today. Who is Usain Bolt? Huh? He again, born August 17, 1986, is a Jamaican retired sprinter, widely considered to be the greatest sprinter of all time. He's a world record holder in the 100 meters, 200 meters, and 4x100 meters relay. An 8-time Olympic gold medalist, Bolt is the only sprinter to win Olympic 100 meter and 200 meter titles in 3 consecutive Olympics, 2008, 2012, and 2016. And I can go on and on. Would you like me to tell you what his network is? Yeah, I hasten to say, Usain Bolt is $90 million. That's his network. As I said in our earlier session, sometimes our inborn talent will be discovered as a child, as in Usain Bolt, and sometimes we will discover as an adult. The point is, whenever it is discovered, we owe ourselves to develop it. Right? If you utilize your God-given inborn talents purposefully, 10 out of 10 times you will achieve success. Finally, let me just share a few tips with you to ensure that you continue to live purposefully. Please continue to use your talents and your gift. Continue to improve upon it. Step out your comfort zone. Be passionate about your life and activities. Help others. Give back to charity. Surround yourself with only positive people. Guys, I really hope you were encouraged in all 5 videos and will take on the challenge to become the best version of yourself and walk in your purpose and live intentionally. If you were impacted by the series, please like it. Please share it. Click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can join in the next video. Then in our next session, we will be having power talks with Suzanne Rowe-Blidgen on relationship, education, ethics, health, law and politics, religion, animal, arts and culture, business, sports, and a lot more. As I said, thank you so much for spending the time with me, and do have yourself a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. See you soon.